There is a journey into your internal world that has to happen right now. And this journey, its purpose is to go in and nourish the parts of yourself that are afraid, that are insecure, that think that maybe you can't do it, or that it's going to be scary, or that it's going to be unknown. And it is going to be scary and it is going to be unknown, but you need to carry that cup of nourishment into your internal world and be like, but it's going to be okay, but I've got you. And it's going to be scary, and we're going to be doing things we've never done before, but we're going to be okay. Hello, beautiful, wonderful, majestic souls. My name is Dans. This is my channel, That Good Tarot, where we do timeless readings for anyone with any placements. If you have made your way to this reading, I do believe there is a message in here for you. However, if you don't resonate with this reading, that's cool, that's chill. Go check out my channel. There are so many other readings there, and I'm sure you'll find something that fits you. So let's get into the download. I had a lot of pretty interesting, pretty intense downloads over the last couple of days. So let's just jump straight into it. So the first message was, catch a falling star, put it in your pocket, never let it fade away. And I feel that when this was coming in, there is a light that is so special and so specific to you. It's a light that only you can bring. It's a light that only you have. And you're really being called to honor that right now. I really feel like there are a lot of shifting energies going on, and it can be really intense. It can be really heavy. But what is important for you to remember is that you have something really, really tangible within your grasp, and that is the light that you have, and that is the light that you hold. And it is so important, and is going to become more and more important. And the reason why is going to become more and more apparent to you. So when you find this light, acknowledge it, keep it close to you. The other message I was getting with this was my memory of this phrase is from the movie Princess Diaries, and I watched that in a time in my life when I was very young, because I was born in the 90s. So the 2000s were my childhood, and it really brought about this idea of innocence and coming back to a place that you were in your childhood, and a light and an innocence and a purity and a perfection that was always there, inherent within you as a child. There was always a perfection there. There is still a perfection that lies within you, that is inherent to you. And returning back to that place is really important. I'm really subconscious that one of my eyes is red, and it's because I got eyeshadow in my eye as I was getting ready for this. Okay. There is part of you that has always been wanting and needing to shine so bright. Really being called to honor that part of yourself that wants to be seen, like really, really wants to be seen. And wants to be seen and validated by others, but really just is calling out for you to see them, for you to value them, for you to validate them. And the way that you can validate the part of yourself that wants to be seen is just by letting yourself be seen. That is the best way that you can truly honor yourself. That is to let yourself be seen. Even as I say that, I become more relaxed. Okay. There's been a lot of shifting energies. I've been feeling all kinds of interesting epiphanies kind of coming to the surface. I had downloads coming to me in my sleep, middle of the night, keeping me up. Like, it's been intense, and I feel like you're probably right there with me. But let yourself be seen. That's going to alleviate a lot. Even as I say those words, I feel the pressure like coming off my body. That is going to be the thing that is going to unblock a lot of pressure for you. The light within you needs to be nurtured, loved, and adored. Like this part of you, whatever the part of you that wanted to be seen, be valued. The person that you deep down want to be valued by is just you. You valuing yourself, you nurturing yourself and adoring yourself is honestly enough. once you have that, you're not gonna want it from other people. And it is actually so hard to uncritically and unconditionally give that to ourselves, especially when maybe your family or different relationships had you criticizing yourself, but also society. Like so many businesses kind of really depend on you wanting to improve yourself, and on the other side of that, seeing yourself as deficient, seeing yourself as broken. So I don't want you to feel bad for not inherently loving yourself. I feel like it's a rare setting where people can inherently love themselves. Speak lovingly on all the things you want to do and all the things you are doing on your journey. This keeps coming up, this new message of speak lovingly to yourself, and I really can't encourage it enough to speak so lovingly of yourself. Even at the times where you feel like you falter, the way that you can really like be mindful of your language, because in every moment you are spelling out your life. That's where we get the term spells. I know that some people here might not be into that modality, but like language is everything. And what these are kind of traditions and rituals, even in the language, it is how are you articulating your reality? Just like how you would use your vocabulary, use your language, use your spelling. It is such a powerful thing because your subconscious and your mind like accepts everything as truth. So if you say to yourself, I can't do this and I can't do that, your body's gonna be like, okay, and your mind's gonna be like, okay, all right, I can't do this thing, I can't do that thing. I'm never gonna be able to get to this place. I'm never gonna be able to get that. Things don't work out for me in these situations. Things don't never work out for me. Bad things always happen to me. Like these are the things, but like you can honestly kind of pivot all of those things by saying things like, I'm finding things like this really hard for me right now, but I really hope that I'm going to get better. I'm really trying to get better at this thing. You can say, I'm not good at something just as well, but say it as, I am not good at this yet. I'm trying to be better at this. Because you're saying the same thing, but you're giving yourself a chance to still improve, to have a positivity there. Be really, really loving when you do that. Don't like kind of limit yourself and cancel yourself, or don't put yourself on the bench when part of you still wants to prove that you can do it. Coach, you can do it. You need to be your own biggest fan, your own hype girl. I talked about it in the last reading, but like mirror affirmations are great, but like you need to be your biggest fan. You need to be your biggest hype girl. You need to be the person that when you accomplish something, or when you've made something, or when you've done something, you're shouting it from the rooftops. Like you actually need to do this, especially if you are, living in the West and in the society that we have. You need to be loud. If you want like, especially your business, your social media, things like that to grow, babes, you're gonna have to shout yourself from the rooftops. And it is so much easier to do that, and there is so much less friction in you doing that if you're just actually so proud of what you're doing and how you're going about it. The way that I kind of phrase this one for myself, and something that helped me kind of navigate building my social media following, which I did for my music, the link to that is in the description box below, but I built that up and I did that, and I had a lot of back and forth kind of feelings about that. I've been in a positive relationship with it. I've had a really negative relationship with it. You kind of feeding into putting my value on how well I'm doing in those things. But the way that I've kind of come back to it through that journey is in a massive act of self-love, in a way that, I'm a very creative person, and these tools, aside from the sharing aspect, are very creative tools. Things like TikTok or making reels or even YouTube, it's a place where I get to have a creative expression. And I see that part of myself that loves editing videos, that loves recording or writing songs, and I see that inner child within me that wants to shine bright. And when she makes something, And she comes to me and she's like, Dance, look what I made. What do? I take that thing and I say, Dans, I'm so proud of you. What you have made is so beautiful. And I put that on the fridge. That's what I call my social medias. It's my fridge. Just like if a child came up to me with a drawing that they were really, really proud of, what do? Do you pick it apart and be like, actually, this part's not really good and that part's not really good? I wouldn't do that. I'm gonna be like, that's amazing. And I'm gonna put that on the fridge to show the child I'm so proud of their work. Now, is it Picasso? No, it could be. It could be some weird shapes. But you know, is it Vincent van Gogh? No, it's not some renowned artistry. It's a child's creation, but it's their creation. It's their pure creation of what they made. And I'm gonna be proud enough to be like, everyone look what they did. Everyone look what they did, and put it on the fridge. And that's what I do with myself and the things that I've created. And I'm not perfect at it, but it's a way of honoring the things that I do and the things that I make and the videos that I make, even if they're a little bit goofy or a little bit cringy. Like, I take it and I say to myself in those moments, I'm sorry I keep hitting the microphone. I keep saying to myself in those moments, Dan, I'm really proud of what you made. And I take that thing and I post it and I shout it from the rooftops because I am putting it on the fridge, telling myself that I am proud of what I have done. And that is how you can really, really lovingly build a process of, shouting yourself from the rooftop. I also recently started, this is so off topic, but on the thing of social media stuff, I recently am coming back around to responding to all of your comments, and I'm trying to respond to them best I can and like all of them. I think I'm only going like a couple weeks back now, and I think like that's probably enough. I don't need to go back like a month, but know that I am reading them. I am sorry that it's taken me so long to kind of respond to you. I may have said it before in a previous video, but I think I have a weird relationship with kind of responding to comments, and I think that's come a lot from putting a lot of value on my responses and social media stuff. It mostly came from the music account that I built up. There was a time where I was uploading like weekly covers, and that's how I built up the platform that I have over there. And I just got a lot of messages that were just like, and like messages and comments that were just really overwhelming, and kind of like, they weren't about the music. It just made me feel a little bit ick. So I think I just kind of dropped off responding to comments when I used to be really, really vehement about it. But I've been responding to the comments here more because I feel like some of you are saying things to me and I'm like, I really want to respond. And once I started responding really authentically and honestly and intentionally, I'm really enjoying being in conversation with you guys. So if you want to tell me the insights that you have, I really appreciate when you guys kind of add on to the things that I have to say, because getting to see how you are paraphrasing things, or the way that you kind of can bring your own specific perspective to things, and the additional stuff that you guys have to have. Like, I sometimes forget what I said in the reading, and then I go back and I read the words that you guys have said. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's really hitting me right now. Like, so I really appreciate you guys going to the effort of saying some really, like, your affirmations, or just the things that you've kind of taken away and the lessons you've learned that have brought you into a place where you can kind of see what I'm talking about as well, because you always have, like, everyone's got their own little bits of information, you know, that is really, really handy and really, really useful. And okay, I'm rambling, but point is, I appreciate you. I get so much out of that, and I thank you. What is standing between you and realizing the biggest and brightest version of yourself? What is it about your highest self that you are most afraid of? Okay, let's say those two questions again. What is standing between you and realizing the biggest and brightest version of yourself? Let's hover on that question for a second. I feel like as I come towards some kind of answer to that, I don't know if I don't have your specific answers, but I know the energy of the feeling, and it's fear. Like, I feel afraid of that answer. And I think that fear itself might be that answer as well. Like we can say, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough resources, I don't have this, I don't have that, look, I feel like if you didn't have this fear, you wouldn't worry about all of those things. Like you wouldn't. Sometimes it's a fear of failing, and once you start to do something and once you really intentionally put your mind to doing it, it can be a really, really like scary thing to do, because once you're all in and once you decide to take that first step and be like, that's it, this is the thing I'm doing, I'm putting myself out there. If you fail, that's on you. That's a scary thing. And if you never really start that ball rolling, you never really have to deal with the consequences of you having failed. It can kind of always live as a nice idea in your mind, and you can always live looking back thinking, oh, I could have been this and I could have been that. But if you did it and it didn't work out the way you wanted it to, then you have your answer. In some way you'll feel like you couldn't do that. Now we know that that's actually not the case. Like, it seems logical when you lay it out like that, but when you take into account that things need consistent effort, and that if you did kind of the right thing over time and constantly built on that and learned from that and scaled from there, you would succeed. You would, in some way, shape or form, or you'd find another journey and pivot from there. Like, it would lead you somewhere. You taking this path would lead you somewhere different. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's exactly the thing that you dreamed of, but it's probably close to, if not like slightly more aligned with the things that you were wanting to get out of that and fulfilled you from that. But there is a fear there. There is a fear of starting. There is a fear of moving. There is a fear of maybe you're in the middle of something and you're scared of like kind of going harder, or maybe there's even a fear of being in the middle of something and feeling like you're in the wrong place, and seeing where the right place is and being afraid of that, because staying safe in your lane, even though it's not maybe bringing you like the exact success you wanted, it's still more comfortable and still more safe than moving over to that other thing. I feel like that's a very specific message for just a few people when I say that. But you can see yourself, I'm so sorry, you can see yourself and you can see your higher self. And there's a gap there. And, you know, I'm not asking you to close that gap right now. I'm just asking you to think about, what is the feeling that you get when you start to look at that gap? When you start to question what it is behind the reasons why you aren't doing something. And like I said, if you're like, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough resources, ask yourself the question, what if it's not? What if it's not because I don't have enough time? What if it's not because I don't have the resources? Just something for you to think on. What is it about your highest self that you are most afraid of? Another really interesting question that I want you guys to have a think about, maybe put your answers down below if you feel like being that vulnerable and that honest, but absolutely no pressure. But I think that exploring this question could be something really, really interesting. I'm feeling really cool to flip this over right now. Yes, we have the Knight of Cups. There is a journey into your internal world that has to happen right now. And this journey, its purpose is to go in and nourish the parts of yourself that are afraid, that are insecure, that think that maybe you can't do it, or that it's going to be scary, or that it's going to be unknown. And it is going to be scary and it is going to be unknown. But you need to carry that cup of nourishment into your internal world and be like, but it's going to be okay. But I've got you. And it's going to be scary, and we're going to be doing things we've never done before. But we're going to be okay. When I think about things that you might not at first think of as scary for your higher self, is that Maybe what is scary is that you will have a lot of authority. You'll have a lot of responsibility. When things fall apart, that could be on you if things fall apart. I'm so sorry. It's that kind of catastrophic thinking that I'm like tapping into when I'm going into this energy of like, what are you afraid of your higher self? Are you afraid that your higher self is going to be divisive? Are you afraid that your higher self is going to be really, really outspoken? Are you afraid that your higher self is going to be controversial? Are you afraid that your higher self and you authentically being who you are you afraid that they're not going to be loved? Are you afraid that your higher self is going to be so different from the current version of yourself that you don't feel safe being that person yet? Because it's safer to stay the way that you are, even though that's not your ideal. It's not your ideal, but it's safer. It's safe because it's what you know, it's what you've always known. You being your higher self, that's the unknown. Something for you to really, really think about. What is it about success that scares you? I have a couple cards that want to come out of the deck. What would have to change about you and your life that you're scared of? Before I turn these cards over, okay, another card wants to come out, thank you. I immediately feel that there are some relationships in your life that you know your higher self would not tolerate. Your higher self would not take with you. You know that there are certain people in your life that don't allow you to be your higher self. In fact, can consistently bring out the lowest version of yourself, are not working to bring the best version of you out. And that might be something that you are afraid of. That might be something that kind of stops you from inherently being your higher self or working towards that, because you know such a big part of you doing that doesn't include this person or these people, 111. What is it about success that scares you? Is it shining brighter than others? Do you think you're going to lose love if you outshine others? Do you think you'll become a target of conversation or gossip? We have the King of Pentacles, we have the Strength, and we have the Nine of Swords. What is waiting for you when you step into your higher self is so much abundance and so much strength, but there is going to be so much letting go. The reason why I don't want to say the reason why, that's not the right wording. The things that are keeping you from fully embodying your higher self, you already know what these things are. You know what these things are. Even as I say that, I feel like y'all are thinking, I know what she's going to say. And for every single one of you, it's different. But the fact is that even as I said that, I know that you were thinking, I know what she's going to say. She's going to say this, that, and the other. You answered it for yourself. You answered it for yourself. You already know what's holding you back. You already know the places, you know the workplace, you know the relationships, you know the bad habits, you know the crutches, you know the coping mechanisms. Because you can imagine your higher self, and when you imagine your higher self, I know you're like, and they don't do this, and they don't do that, and they don't hang out with this person, they don't do that. Your answer is right there. But it can be hard. It can be really, really hard letting go of what is known, because what is known feels safe, even though it might not always actually feel all that safe. It actually at times might feel really dangerous, really chaotic, really traumatizing. But if that's all you've known, yeah, that can feel really safe. That can feel really safe, okay? Take it from someone who knows. That can feel really safe. That can keep you in a place you don't want to be for years, babes. Years. I really got to push this. Don't do that to yourself. Love yourself more than that. Love yourself enough to protect yourself. I feel like someone needed to hear that. Is being successful something that is unfamiliar? Is that why you're afraid of it? What would have to change about you and your life that you're scared of? Is it no more excuses? Is it no more taking less than you deserve? Is it being more assertive? Is it being demanding? Is it being bossy? Is it being accountable? Are these things that you're afraid of? Are these things that you feel like you're not ready for? I'm telling you, babe, you're ready for it. You're actually ready for it. You've been ready for it. Part of you is like, but let me do it now. But let me shine. But let me do it now. Your inner child, they're like, I'm ready for it. Let me do it now. I want to do it now. But it's you holding yourself back, holding your inner child back, thinking that you can't do it. You're fully capable. You're fully capable. Your inner child is fully capable. Somewhere along the way, you felt like you can't do things well. That's not the case. I really feel like I'm being called to say this, even though it's not in the download, but sometimes, especially with me, I felt like I couldn't do things well. I thought that I wasn't very smart. I thought that I wasn't very talented at very many things, and it's why I clung to music really, really hard, because I'm Filipino, so it's kind of in the culture and kind of in the blood. I was a somewhat naturally good singer. When I came to learn vocal technique, no, like I can pitch, I could pitch. Now I have good vocal technique because I've been training and teaching for years, so now I can do it. But I keep talking about singing. But I just thought that people were kind of good at things and I wasn't good at things. And it wasn't until very recently, maybe within the last year, that I kind of had the epiphany of like, no, like as an adult, I had to learn that like, it's okay for me to be bad at things, and it's okay for me to be bad at things while I'm learning things. And with enough consistent practice and good training, or like good education or good help, not gonna be formal or informal, but like having someone who knows how to teach you how to do something can make you progress really quickly at something. And I know this because I'm a teacher, and something that I really, really emphasize is that like, it's great to be knowledgeable as a teacher. Knowledge is, it's half of it, but the other half of it is knowing how to explain it to a student. Like teachers that can't teach well are not very good teachers, and those teachers exist. But the teachers that are really valued are people that can, one, make you feel safe at not being good at something and validate the things that you are good at, but can really well explain what you need to do and how you need to do it to become better at something. I didn't have that understanding as a child. I thought that you're good at things naturally or you're not good at things naturally. And bless my beautiful parents, but neither of them were teachers, and neither of them were practiced or experienced at explaining how to do things. So when it came to a sport, and I was very uncoordinated, I would try and copy the people around me, and I wasn't given a lot of guidance, and I just thought, I can't do this. But if I had someone who was knowledgeable at it and knew how to talk to me as a child and approach it and see it in the ways where they could get me to aim better, to swing better, to hold myself better, then I probably would have progressed really well at sports, just like anyone does when they have a coach or a teacher or a tutor. Like, you can be good at anything that you set your mind to. I know I got so off track with where I came from to say this, but I felt like that was, oh yes, I was talking about how like growing up, I thought I was just bad at things. I thought that people, you good at it or you're bad at it. And I, after years of actually teaching, had to break down that concept and be like, no, you're not good at something or you're bad at something. You become good at things, and you become better at things if you are inherently like just kind of naturally talented at it. But you aren't just like bad at one thing and there's no hope for you. People aren't just good at things or bad at things. They're practiced at things. And having someone who is good at explaining how to do things is going to be a massive asset for you moving forward. If you can accept that you can be good at anything, you can absolutely be good at anything, and you can be good at anything by practicing that thing and learning about that thing, and you can get there twice as fast by having someone who knows about that thing and is very, very good at explaining how to help someone with that thing. I don't know what that thing is for you. The Hermit, research, as we're talking about it, research. Okay. There is part of you that is waiting and wanting to take up that position, wanting to take up that position of being your higher self. There is part of you that's calling out, being like, I'm kind of done with this. I've kind of had enough with this. And you might be able to hear that part of yourself calling out to you in your darkest moments. I know it's going to sound cheesy, but a couple years ago I did like a Tony Robbins intensive. What was it called? Unleash the Power Within. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever done a Tony Robbins thing or a self-help anything. I'm not super into his stuff, but I was just, I don't know, I found myself in one of those situations, and we did this whole process of getting into like a really, really deep part of yourself. And I found there was a part of me calling out to me, like she was crying, and I had felt her. I had felt her before. I'd felt her in little whispers. I'd felt her here and there. I used to smoke a lot. I haven't for like, it's been almost 10 months since I stopped. Can't imagine my life doing that anymore, but that was like a good last 10 years of my life. That's what I did all the time, every day. And she was crying out to me, and she was saying, please, Dan, please, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, you don't even want to do this anymore. You don't even like this anymore. And it was also really closely affiliated with like a partner that I had that was just extremely toxic, and there was this part of me that knew that, and I felt her. I felt this inner voice to me in whispers saying like, I can't keep doing this, 1111, I can't keep doing this, you can't keep doing this. And then during this experience, where it was a very in-depth kind of going down into the core of who you are and like listening to those voices, and she was just crying, being like, can we please stop now? Can we please stop now? And I feel like this is being brought up because there is a part of you that is like, can we please? Like, it's easy to get through the day when we have crutches, coping mechanisms, or things to distract us, things to numb us, to make us feel or make us not feel these things. But you know that it's there. You know that the part of you that is like, I just don't want to do this anymore. Like, I can't keep doing this. You can't keep doing this. This isn't good. I'm not even enjoying this anymore. That voice is there. The sooner you come to honor it, the better you'll be. When this experience happened to me and I really fully felt this voice, and I said to her, okay, we'll stop hanging out with this person. We'll stop doing this. We'll get rid of this thing, that thing, the other thing. I didn't immediately. I did within like 6 months. And when I did, I was like, she knew. My inner voice knew. And my life has been completely changed. That was sometime before I started this channel as well. So we have my inner voice to thank, and kind of that Tony Robbins intensive kind of, but mostly me. Like any self-help, like we can thank the self-help, but it's me, it's you that does the work. So if you're ever doing that kind of stuff, make sure that you're thanking yourself because you're doing the work. Okay, the next download, because I know things are getting really heavy and I've just been rambling a lot. You know deep down that you weren't afraid of being any of those things. That part of you would be proud to be assertive, accountable, and in control. You need to embody the person that you want to become right now before the higher self or the success comes. because it's only in changed action that you will realize this version of yourself, not the other way around. Okay, let's get into that. Because if you're waiting for this higher version of yourself to arrive before you be like, okay, now I'm going to cut that person out. Okay, and now I'm going to cut that habit out. Okay, now I'm going to get rid of that crutch. No, that's not how this works. Like, you don't become your highest self and then make all these changes. You become your highest self by making these changes. Like, it's kind of like chicken and egg. They're kind of intertwined. Like, you can't have one and then do the other. It's one and the same. Your journey of doing this is how you become your highest self. Here is your highest self, and all of the things that are stopping you are the things that you need to get rid of. And as you get rid of them, that is how you become your highest self. You have to kind of go through the pain, and I want to say that it's scary, but it's kind of like an adventure. Like, you're afraid of this journey, this hero's journey of becoming the person that you were always destined to be. And it's going to be scary, and it's going to be painful, and times of it are going to be lonely. But at the end, it's only because you did those things and you learnt all the lessons you needed to learn by getting rid of this coping mechanism and having to deal with the consequences of like what your life has become in the time when you have just been pacifying yourself. And you having to come to terms with the fact that you made those choices, and it maybe set you back for a certain amount of time because you were constantly numbing yourself, and then learning to forgive yourself for like, look, you were hurting. That's why you did that. I can understand that. I can appreciate that. I can thank you for finding a way to cope with it. But now we are making the change, and yes, it's going to be hard, and yes, it's going to be scary, and yes, it's going to be feeling so unfamiliar. But let's hope that this space where you're not constantly pacifying yourself or constantly undermining yourself or self-sabotaging, that might feel unfamiliar, but you are going to need to have a long time of that before you start to feel like that's familiar. And then the idea of yourself being self-sabotaging or pacifying, that's gonna feel unfamiliar. But that's what you want. But yes, getting out of that state is gonna feel scary because it's gonna feel really, really unfamiliar. And like, embrace that. Be like, yeah, okay, cool. I know that this is scary, and I know that this is so unknown, but so much better than what was before. And you coming to terms with that and embracing every little step, every epiphany, like uncovering every layer on the way, that is like your highest self is hiding underneath all of that. Okay. You won't achieve success and then change your movements and attitudes. You change your movements and attitudes, then achieve success. That's how it is. What does success mean for you? Put those parameters down. What does it mean? Like, what does it actually mean? Don't have success be this arbitrary goalpost that you consistently move all the time. Okay, let's not do that. Does success mean a healthy relationship that you're really happy and thriving in, where you feel like you're being supported? Does success look like your own home that you own? Does success mean having traveled to 3 different countries? Like, make it something, like give it kind of parameters so you know what you're working towards. It's gonna help you, because if success is this arbitrary kind of like vague thing in your mind, doesn't matter what you achieve up until that point, you'll just keep changing it. And you can get to the point where you own a house, or you've traveled to however many countries, or you're in a really healthy relationship, and then you can redefine what you want as success. But at least you can pat yourself on the back and be so proud of yourself for achieving the success that you set out for. And maybe your success is like, I wanna start a tarot channel, and I wanna get to this point with it. If you want to start a tarot channel, if you have a tarot channel, if you want to start a tarot channel, this is the video where I want you to self-promote right now. I want you to drop it in the comments. I want you to tell me. And if you don't have a tarot channel, or even just a social media following, you got Instagram that you're building, you got something going on, please let me support you. I'm so here to support you guys. It's the least that I can do, considering you guys are supporting me. So drop it down there. Let me know. I wanna be all up on your stuff. I wanna be commenting on your posts. I wanna be liking it. All my friends know me as like that bitch who's gonna triple comment on their post, because I'm like, I know what it's like. I know we're algorithmically helping each other out right here. You're part of my crew now. You guys are constantly supporting me and I so appreciate it. Drop it wherever you want support. If that's something that you're doing right now, if you want some little algorithmic support, just a little dancey in your comments, being like fire emojis and saying some nice things, do it. But yes, what does success mean for you? Set those parameters. And then the last thing is, what would you be doing differently if you had that success? Something that I really want you guys to be thinking about, because whatever it is that you'd be doing differently with your life if you were successful are the things that you just should be doing. You should not be waiting for success to do these things. If you're like, oh my God, I would dress so cute every single day. I would dress so cute if I was successful. And I'd just walk around being like, I'm the best. That's how you need to do. You need to dress super cute. You need to go out. You're not gonna wait until you're successful. You'll wait till a point to start dressing cute and walking around like you're the best thing ever. No, do that now. Absolutely do that now. If you're like, when I'm successful, I'm gonna like go fully vegan and I'm just gonna eat the most delicious organic food. Now I understand that there are financial parameters around that, but if you don't have to wait till you're successful to start, you know, giving yourself really delicious, nutritious food. When I'm really successful, I'm gonna have art all over my walls. Okay, if you decide to do that, start putting things on your walls. Start making the effort to make your space beautiful. If you're like, when I have my own little space, I'm like, I'm going to put stuff wherever I want. You can still do that and have control of how things look wherever you are. And I really encourage that the spaces that you're in, make it beautiful. Like I decorate this studio with my 16-year-old self in mind. Yeah, I'm into my 3rd decade now, okay? But this is space for 16-year-old Dans. I honor her by creating a space where she feels cute, and I have my little vision board, collages of me, Demi Lovato, huge festival crowds, tour buses, like it's all there. All my affirmations, everything you make and do is genius, revolutionary, inspiring, important, powerful, slay. I've got photos of myself, you know, from 4 years ago, little baby dansies up on the wall, little whiteboards, I've got crystals. Like, this is my space. I'm gonna make it in a way where I feel like I can be fully creative and fully free and honor my inner child. And that's what makes me feel good. So what would you be doing differently if you were successful? We have the Knight of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles, the Ace of Wands. Something that you're doing or something that you're making is seriously about to take off. If you really take heed of this advice, it's gonna take off. It is going to take off. Like, you have an idea that I feel like is going to kind of mold together with another idea. I don't think you fully are intended for these two things to kind of be working together, but I think they naturally are going to. Oh my God, I've been in this reading so long, it's like dark outside. Okay, we're gonna finish up. But two things that you're working on are gonna kind of serendipitously kind of work together, and it's gonna bring forth this next era for you. This is it. This is the era where you are bringing your highest self to the table. Oh, I love it. Let's get into oracle cards. Oh my God, I'm getting really called to pull out a music oracle as well. I want to apologize, but not apologize. So I just want to acknowledge that I know that I ramble about singing a lot, and that's what you're gonna get here. Because it's such a big part of me. I love talking about singing. I'm not gonna apologize for it, but I'm gonna acknowledge it. So sorry, not sorry. Yeah, that's how I'll acknowledge it. All right, let's get into these beautiful Know Thyself cards. I think they're called Magical Self. I don't know. I've lost the books. Okay, 1, 2, thank you. Three cards coming through. Okay, we have There is a reason you have those dreams. The mystic, intuition, high priestess, visionary. There is a reason why you have those dreams. There is purpose there. There is purpose and there is destiny there. Number 8, I am not underestimating my own magic anymore. Magic, power, beginnings, transformation. I can't even paraphrase that. I don't even need to paraphrase that. Put that down in the comments as your affirmation. I am not underestimating my own magic anymore. And 33, find those who inspire you to bloom. Grow together, community, connection, reciprocation. I felt like a really big part of this reading that came up was kind of the idea that maybe some of the people around you aren't lifting you. Maybe you do have people that are lifting you, but it's time to be really, really conscious of who it is that you are letting influence you at this time. Because, oh man, the people around you, that's everything. That is actually so much. You are the 5 people you are closest to, and that is actually including creators, that is including the media that you are consuming as well. So make sure that if you feel like you have, 3 really close friends and then like 5 people that you consistently watch on social media, are you happy to be like them? I actually had to stop watching certain creators from a certain genre because I'm like, this is just a lot of negativity. It's a lot of tearing down. It's a lot of kind of like, it's just this energy of like picking on people and like bullying almost, I wasn't into it, but I had to stop. And now I have like other people that I am constantly watching, and it's like, you know what, if I'm anything like these readers that I am following and that I'm watching in a part of my daily life, like I'm good. Like I'm good. And if that changes and I feel like I don't align with them anymore, then that's fine too. That's fine. Okay, let's get into these oracle cards as well. Man, this has been a long reading, and this wasn't even, I still got another download that's gonna have to wait till tomorrow. Universe, please, the last words of insight and information. We have Akasha, your guidance is divinely guided. Listen to that voice, listen to that whisper, listen to that point of view that's like, we can't do this anymore. You know where that voice is, you know what I'm talking about. No, wait, postpone, pause, say no. You're going to be asked to be pulled back into a situation, pulled back into a habit, pulled back into a crutch. It could be as small as like, do you want to come do this thing with us? You know that it is the thing that is holding you back from being your higher self. You know that it's a pattern, you know that it's a cycle, and you know that your higher self would say no. So what are you going to say? Because we're embodying our higher selves right now. We are acting as if we have the success that we have achieved, and we are moving with that energy. So what are we going to say? No. Lastly, we have Shakira. Don't dream about the sunset at midday. Just really thinking about the whole idea of being really, really present with yourself. Know your rights. Okay, that's a really, really interesting thing. See if that is relating to you right now. Drop it in the comments below. Know your rights. This could be something that maybe we should all collectively carry moving forward with everything that's going on, whether that's personal or kind of collectively. And travel is the most effective antidote. Oh my god, I said that really weird because I need to sneeze. Hold on. I'm gonna say that again. Antidote. Travel is the most effective antidote to indifference. If you feel yourself being stuck, if you feel yourself being in a state of stagnancy, move. Go to somewhere you've never been before. It can literally be like 3 suburbs over. Go for a walk. Go for a holiday. Get yourself out of the space that you are constantly inhabiting. Get yourself a new, fresh perspective. Your energy needs it. Thank you so much for joining me on this long reading. I really, again, I'm reiterating that like y'all support me so much. If you have an online business, if you have a social media page, if you have something where you feel like yeah, it would help me a little bit, but every little bit counts. I would love if you would like, you know, I'd love to have a Danzy, you know, crawling up in the comments being like hyping me up. Drop your handles, drop your things below, any way that I can kind of help you in the way that you help me by subscribing and commenting and liking and all that kind of stuff, because all of that helps me be found and grow this, and I would love to give back. So this is the point where you put that stuff below. But if you've made it to this point of the reading, y'all are the goodest collective because this has been a long one. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I appreciate you more than you know. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next reading.